What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I am here to review Agnes, episodes 5 through 8. Wednesday. I hope nobody clicked away after that gag. It's Wednesday, the second half of this season. We got through the episodes, and I just really just want to talk about Evee Templeton for like forever. Agnes is amazing, and it has a lot to do with the way that she's played and the way that actress just tackled Agnes. And what a great character introduction. It made up for a lot of the other um, cast from season one who didn't have quite as much screen time. Wednesday had other fans, there were other kids at the school, like we kind of get to a point where, um, you know, even like the B kid is not really, he doesn't do much, especially in the second half of the season. He just isn't there much. Even Ajax has very little to do. He has a very pivotal moment in the last 4 episodes, like a very pivotal moment in the last 4 episodes. Like a thank God Ajax was there. But yeah, there really isn't anything. So I'm excited for season 3, and if they don't make her a series regular, they're insane. Because I've seen the internet reacting to Agnes, and everybody seems to love Agnes as much as I do. So like Wednesday, Agnes, and Enid, I feel like that's a trio now. And she has enough of a different personality and to keep herself separate from both Wednesday and Enid, so that way it balances itself. So the back half of the season finds Slurp turned into an actual human, which is Isaac. And then we learned about Isaac's backstory and how that worked in with Gomez and Morticia when they were at Nevermore Academy, and what that means. And also Tyler's loose. We first see Wednesday didn't die. If you thought she did, the show's called Wednesday. That would be kind of weird. Uh, so she's recuperating in the hospital and then wakes up and goes from there. So Tyler's loose as a hide, and then we see that one of the people that Wednesday also let loose was Francois, who is his mom, and comes in to save Tyler. And save her son and get her son out of there. So that happens. And it turns out that Isaac is a Da Vinci, which means he can create things. Like, that's his power. So he was working on creating a device because being a hide kills you quicker. Like, they die early. Like, it's not something, every time you turn, it takes away part of your life. So Francois originally wanted to lose her hide powers. And so they're developing this thing to take away her powers. But we also learn throughout the course of the season, Isaac may not be as altruistic as he claims to be. And there's a past there with Morticia and with Gomez. Basically, I guess this is a recap, so I can just go ahead and say it. Basically, Isaac had an experiment back when they were in Nevermore that killed him, and Morticia and Gomez were the ones that buried the body at the base of that tree. And it would have killed. Isaac had trapped Gomez. There's a reference to Gomez having no abilities, and it's possible that he did have abilities, because they're trying to do the same thing to Pugsley, who has like the power of electricity. Like, he can spark things. And that is what Isaac needed from Gomez, was he needed his electricity to power the machine to be able to take Francois's hide power away. So while it was happening, Morticia found them and attacked, which the way that she attacked, I guess, blew up the machine, killed Isaac, also chopped off his hand, which is how we got Thing. Um, and then Gomez and Morticia buried Isaac at that tree where later Pugsley would find him. So that's that story. And then it wraps up with Francois, instead of taking her shot at, decides to give it to Tyler. But Tyler doesn't want his hide to be taken away, so he resists, and Wednesday sets him free and lets Tyler uses, enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so Tyler ends up helping to fight at the end. Grateful that Wednesday saved him from having his hide powers revoked. So he helps to fight in the end. At the end of the movie, this season, Francois dies. She falls from the tower that they're in and lies dead in a werewolf statue. And Isaac dies again. I mean, he's undead at this point, so I don't know that that's a crime, but Isaac dies again. And Thing, actually, he attaches Thing back to his hand, and so Thing is part of him again. But then Thing, eventually they're able to get Thing to resist, and Thing ends up ripping away the sewing, and then attacking Isaac, and that's how, and helping them win. And without his hand, Isaac's powers go away. He has actually some crazy powers as a Da Vinci. He's able to it's like telekinesis basically. So at the beginning too, he puts Wednesday in a grave. Not at the beginning, but at the beginning of, was it episode 8? It was episode 8. The final episode, the final showdown. He puts Wednesday in a grave, and they had shown us that, because of some stuff that happened, which I'm getting to, I'll get to the other B plots in a second, that Agnes had left with not her parents, but an assistant or something. But Agnes didn't really leave. Agnes is still there. So Agnes was hanging out around, being invisible, and watches Isaac put Wednesday in the ground. And then she runs to get Enid, who's in her cage, her alpha cage. And she's, Enid has no choice but to wolf out in order to dig up the grave to get Wednesday out so Wednesday doesn't die. So she does her transformation, even though she knows that it'll make her an alpha and she won't be able to turn back. So then Enid runs away, which sets up season 3, because they pretty much, there are two things that happen at the very end. One of which is that Wednesday's grandmother goes back home, and we see that she's basically been keeping the other daughter in the basement, and the other daughter has written in blood, "Wednesday must die." Creepy. And then the other thing is that Wednesday has decided, Fester comes and picks her up, and then she promised that she would go after Enid. So that is what she's doing. Instead of going home or going to her grandmother's, which they talked about, going to her mortuary for the summer. But she goes to rescue Enid because Enid wolfed out to save her. So now she's going to save Enid. So that's going to be season 3. She also is helped a little bit by her spirit guide, who lets her parents know what's up, or at least she can let her mom know, I guess. And then they are able to rush in and help at the last point. So, and Wednesday sends Agnes after Enid to watch. So I don't know if Agnes is, I guess that keeps Agnes around. So that's kind of that's that main plot point. The other stuff is the Dorrit stuff, which we see he was the leader of the cult that Bianca's mom was in, that they got out of this cult. And Dorrit hired this actor because he realized that he didn't look like the right type, so he hired sort of like a pretty boy to be the leader of the cult. And that guy comes back around, and Dorrit he's at a point where they're close to being able to get the money because he's had Bianca, Siren, Wednesday's grandmother, into giving up all of her money to Nevermore, but that doesn't go well. And also Wednesday got sirened by Bianca, but Wednesday once again was helped by Agnes, who nobody knew was there. And Agnes tells Wednesday, "You were sirened. Here's what happened." And Wednesday gives Agnes like a little bit of a harsh pushback for how helpful Agnes was, all things considered. But it's Enid who talks to Agnes and lets her know that, no, it's okay. It's just how she is. So Enid and Agnes bond a little bit. But Wednesday ultimately realizes the Dorrit stuff and sets everything up. So, and works with Bianca to take down Dorrit, which they quite literally do. Unexplainably. They're having their big gala where Agnes and Enid do that dance that I guess is setting the world on fire right now. But they do their quirky little dance at this gala. And Enid had a lot of opportunities to dance this time. And Dorrit ends up trying like escape, and he has, I think he has Bianca as his like hostage. He has either Bianca or Bianca's mother as his hostage, and he's like trying to move away. He's already killed off the other guy, the one who was actually the leader of the cult, and Bianca sirens him into telling the truth, and they remove his watch, and so that he actually can be affected by the powers. So he tells the truth, and then he takes Bianca hostage and is like, well, I'm getting out of here. And Ajax takes off his hat, and gets Dorrit to look at him for 2 seconds. And so he turns to stone, and he turns to stone just as a chandelier is dropping from the ceiling. So it completely crushes Dorrit. So Steve Buscemi dies. He's not returning unless he returns as a spirit guide. So that's how that finished. Pugsley survives. They were going to use him as a source for electricity, which is like the most interesting thing Pugsley has done all season. Pugsley is my least favorite thing in the show. I just think they didn't know what to do with him. I don't think he's cast appropriately. He feels kind of like a nothing character to me. Otherwise I like the show. I love Wednesday. I liked all the other characters that returned. I liked all the other characters introduced. I thought everybody else did a great job. We've had some heavy hitters throughout the season. Gaga, Tandy Way Newton, Steve Buscemi. I mean, some of these people are great characters. We had some big returning characters that we didn't know we were going to get, like Christina Ricci. And So, sure. I liked Wednesday. I probably liked Wednesday more than a lot of other critics. But man, Pugsley was he was just a puzzle piece that they just kept trying to figure out how to make him fit in. And now that I look back on the season, he feels more like a plot device than a character. He feels like something that they needed to have, and they just kept using him, which is a little bit kind of like what happens when you see the season, and I forget his name, but the B kid from the first season, they don't do much with him, and they've just basically paired him with Pugsley and made him best friends. Like that's his big event for the season, he doesn't contribute as much to the main story anymore. So I wonder where Pugsley's going to go. Are they going to feel the need to keep trying to push him into things and make use of him? But yeah, he feels more like a thing that they needed that wasn't Thing than an actual character that they felt like developing. Because like Enid is a far more interesting character. Agnes is a far more interesting character. Even Bianca is a far more interesting character. Tyler's a far more interesting. I mean, they have characters that have more range and depth to them. Pugsley has no depth, which is, I guess, part of the point of Pugsley, except it's not played well. So that's the only thing. I think there's a little bit of a casting bump in the road with Pugsley. Then again, I'm also not crazy about Fred Armisen's Uncle Fester either, just to be totally honest. Does not spark joy. But whatever. I'd rather have, at least he's doing something. I mean, with Fred Armisen, it's just an interpretation, and I just don't like his interpretation quite as well as like Christopher Lloyd's from the movies. Who, by the way, we also lose Christopher Lloyd because Slurp takes his brain. But so he will not be returning, which was probably a gamble anyway, considering Christopher Lloyd's age. But yeah, that's Wednesday. I'm giving it, I like this season. I really did. Pugsley's like the only thing that I really just, I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I just had a hard time every time he was on screen with anything he was doing. I was like, why is this character not fitting? I felt like they were going to reveal that he wasn't really Pugsley and he was somebody else and he's not really an Adams or something. Just be like, that's why he feels so out of place. Nope, he's Pugsley. Cool. So I'm going to give Wednesday an 8.5 out of 10. Because, yeah, I'm here for it. It's already been renewed. We're getting a third season. So we'll find out whatever happened to Enid, and Wednesday will save Enid. So I'm sure we'll get as many seasons as Jenna Ortega allows the season to get. And no, this is up to Jenna Ortega. This is not up to Catherine Zeta-Jones. They'll just write Morticia out of the show. So this is as long as Jenna Ortega wants to keep doing Wednesday. They'll keep asking her, and if they keep paying her, or they want to keep doing it, or she wants to keep doing it, she'll do it. And once she's done, she's done. The show's done. Because without Wednesday, there is no Wednesday. And Jenna Ortega's career continues to get bigger. But it's not so big that she can't find time for Wednesday yet. So, anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.